3, 2, 1.
Here are some trending hashtags for the workplace. We have the Sunday scaries, we have the Monday blues, and my personal favorite, I hate my job. And if that isn't spoiling your beer tonight, I asked my friend Sarah just a few days ago to take part of a survey and said, what do you love about work? And she laughed at me. If you haven't surveyed your teams recently, you might be shocked to know that 67% of them are checked out. They are clocking in and then mentally checking out, otherwise known as presenteeism. How many of you have experienced burnout before? Maybe experienced the Monday blues, the Sunday selfies, or maybe you've Googled how to live off-grid in a tiny house. I know that I have. Maybe you're burnt out from trying to keep people really happy and engaged and productive at work. 37% of your team members being engaged is a shocking statistic, and we have to do something about it. We are sick of being the happiness cheerleaders, and it's not just our job. We need to start handing over and bring in more of an empowerment model. So how do we do that? First of all, you need to recognize that you are not responsible for your team members' feelings or managing their moods. That's what a therapist couch is for. So how do we do something about this? Very simply, we need to ask them some questions. Ask them, where do you find joy at work? What do you find happiness in? Have you ever been asked this question? Would you even know how to answer it? When we ask these really skillful questions, we find out things that'll help them to take control and empower them to design their day themselves and take the ownership of us, which will take away about 50% of us dealing with squabbles and petty issues that we simply don't have time for. I'm waiting for my next slide. Come on. The timing is hard. So I asked people the question, what brings happiness at work for you? And you'll be surprised to know it wasn't a branded Stanley Cup or unlimited vacation. There were things like, I got out of my pajamas and I wore cool shoes. There were things like, I fixed a printer and we survived some really boring meetings. We simply need to be asking the questions. You need to give your leadership team the language to be able to ask the questions that matter. Questions like, how do you want to grow? What makes you happy here? How are you scheduling this in? And what do I need to support you taking control of your own happiness? Stress for HR is like a big pile of laundry. If you sit there for too long, it's going to fester and it's going to smell really bad, and we have to get mum involved. Right? We don't want to wait until we're burnt out and we have a lack of resources. So here's what you need to do. Step 1, set up a peer mentorship program. When people are connected with trained mentors, they're connected and relating on a different level to fast-track problem solving and to help them strategize together as a team. Success is not a single sport, very, very clearly. People love to mentor, people love to be mentors, and people love to share their knowledge like we're doing simply today. This is the dance for the next slide coming up. When we build stronger and resilient teams, we do this together, magic really happens. What we're doing is actually creating a culture of empowered staff to be able to take control of their happiness, and we know that's where the magic happens. A bit like when you're building muscle, you need a spotter. You need to give people the strength and the tools to be able to deal with conflict, which comes as a result of stress. In fact, if you have a peer mentorship program, you're going to cut down gossip. Think outside the box. Create book clubs with books like Dealing with People You Can't Stand, which, by the way, is a real book. And you can really create bold and innovative conversations where people actually get excited about solving conflict and having disruptive and creative conversations instead of being really fearful of conflict in the workplace. Well-being and joy, they come hand in hand, and we know that in 2020 we all put the big Band-Aid on, but we're 4 years on, and what we did then isn't working now. We need to start empowering our staff to find what works for them specifically. The way to do that is to get really intentional. Some people will need to talk through with a therapist, some people will need a screen box, which by the way is a real thing, and some people will need a well-timed cat video, like myself, or really great shoes. We need to create a menu of options for people to take control. So I challenge you with this. You need to create a workplace that empowers people to take control of their own happiness by being a curator and not the concierge for their happiness. You want to create a place where there's a cat cameo on Zoom and everyone enjoys it, celebrates it, where people are taking office selfies and tagging you in it because they're super proud to be in a caring and empowerment environment that doesn't leave joy on the table. Thank you very much.